Okay, so we are starting another topic, that is BT 365 Polity and Constitution. There is a point 5, that is Official Language Act. So we are reading this, that why it is in news. Recently, the Chief Justice of India, that is, who is the Chief Justice of India? Bobde, Mr. Okay, so the Chief Justice of India recommended amending the Official Language Act 1963 to include more vernacular languages in the governance and not just confine Hindi to English. Means English to English and Hindi. Basically, we have just two languages in our official language, that is Hindi and English. Now, what he wants to do, he wants to add some more vernacular languages. About Official Languages Act 1963, this act was enacted in 1963 to provide for the language which may be used for the official purpose of the Union, for transaction of business in Parliament, for Central and States Act, and for certain purposes in the High Court. Means for certain purpose in the High Court, we also use this language, and it is basically for the transaction purpose of business in the Parliament and the Central State Act, and for certain purposes in the High Court as well, we use that. As the purpose, as per the Act, both English and Hindi shall be used for certain specified purposes like resolutions and rules and for general orders. So for all these things, we usually use these languages, and notification, press communications, and administrative and other reports, licenses, tenders, etc. For all these purposes, we use this. And the important constitutional provision related to the official languages. What all are the constitutional provision? So, as per the part that is 17 of the Indian Constitution, deals with the official language in Article 343 to 351. So basically we have articles from 343 to 351 where part 17 of the Indian Constitution, these articles comes in, and that basically deals with the official languages. And now if we go to the 8th schedule to the Constitution, consists of 22 languages. 14 were initially included in the Constitution. So 14 was basically there, and now it is, if we go to the 8th schedule, we have 22 official languages. So recently what has happened, that Bodo, Deogri, Maithili, Santhali were added by the 92 Amendment Act of 2003. So what has happened, that 4 official languages were added by 92nd Amendment Act of 2003. So in 92nd Amendment, we added these 4 languages, that is Bodo, Deogri, Maithili, Santhali. So in 343 sub-article 1 of the Constitution of India, Hindi in Devanagari script shall be official language of the Union. So now we have official language Hindi, but in the Devanagari script. And if we talk about 343 sub-article 3, made provision for the continuation of English even after 25th January 1965 by empowering Parliament to make laws to that effect. Basically, in sub-article 3, it has made the provision for continuing English even after 25th January 1965. Then article 344 sub-article 1, it provides for the constitution to a commission by a president on expiration of 5 years from the commencement of the constitution. That a commission that has to be by the president on expiration of 5 years from the commencement of the constitution. What basically wants to say here is, we'll go into this box. Okay, so we have that article 348 sub-article 1 of the Constitution of India. It basically provides that all proceeding of the Supreme Court and in every High Court shall be in English language until Parliament by law otherwise provides. Means if there is no parliament by law it provides, then we have a proceeding that is to be in English language. Now section article 351 provides that for spread of Hindi language, to develop it so that it may serve as the medium of expression for all elements of the composite culture of India. So what is the related information related to this? That the Central Institute of Indian Languages, okay, and Central Institute of English Languages, subordinate office of the Ministry of Education. Earlier it was Ministry of Human Resource. Now it is Ministry of Education. That the Central Institute of Indian Languages was set up in 1969 to coordinate the development of Indian languages. Basically to coordinate the development of the Indian languages, to protect and document minor and majority and tribal languages, promote linguistic harmony by teaching 15 Indian languages to non-native learners. Basically they wants to promote linguistic harmony. Also advises and assists central as well as state government in the matter of languages. Central Institute of Indian Languages organizes a number of programs such as development of Indian languages, regional languages centers, national testing services, etc. Now we have another point, that is Official Language Commission under Article 344. Okay, under Article 344 of the Constitution of India, a commission shall consist a chairman. They are talking about this commission. So the commission shall consist a chairman and such other members representing the different languages specified in the 8th schedule, as the president may appoint, and order shall be defined the procedure to be followed by the commission. It shall be the duty of the commission to make recommendation to the president as to the progressive use of the Hindi language for the official purpose to the Union, restrict on the use of the English language for all or any of the official purpose in the Union. So the language to be used for all or any purpose mentioned in Article 348. Now the forms of numerals to be used for any one or more specified purpose of the Union. Any other matter referred to the Commission by the President as regards the official language of the Union. So, and language of the communication between the Union and state, between the state and other, their use. Now it is also mentioned that the committee shall be consist of 30 members, to whom 20 shall be members of the House of the People and 10 shall be the member of the Council of the States. Okay. Now, it shall be the duty of the committee to examine the recommendations to the commission and to report to the president their opinion thereon. Now we have important terms. What all are the important news in this? Important news we have like the right to protest. It is right to protest, and another we have hate speech. So we'll talk about right to protest. If we talk about this right to protest, Supreme Court gave verdict on right to protest versus right to mobility on a plea against blocking of road in Shaheen Bagh in Delhi over Citizenship Amendment Act protest. In another stance, Supreme Court said farmers have a constitutional right to continue with their absolutely perfect protest as long as their dissent against the three controversial agriculture laws did not slip into violence. So it comes under the Article 19, that is sub-article 1 and A, sub-article 1B, and sub-article 2 and 3. These are basically connected with this, that the freedom of speech and expression. Now 19 sub-article 1 clause A, we could say that the freedom of speech and expression, right to demonstrate or picketing, and no right to strike. So these are the provisions, and under Article 19, there is one part B is of right to assemble peacefully without arms. This is all as per Article 19. There could be a question in the UPSC that right to assemble peacefully without arms comes under the which article and which part. So 19(1)(b), it is a part here, and which we now we have a 19 sub-article 2 and 3. This is power of the state to impose reasonable restrictions. So what are the reasonable restrictions? Now we have another topic, that is hate speech. So hate speech, basically Supreme Court in Amnish Devgan and versus Union of India case observed that the hate speech repudiates right to equality in polity committed to pluralism. What are the we need to remember this case, that Amnish Devgan versus Union of India case observed that hate speech repudiates right to equality in polity committed to pluralism. What are the key observation of the Supreme Court? So here, hate speech versus free speech. There is the bifurcation between the hate speech versus free speech. Free speech basically includes the right to comment, favor or criticize other government policies, and hate speech creating or spreading hatred against a targeted community or group. Hate speech has not to be defined in any law in India, basically. However, hate speech generally incitement of hatred parliament against a group of person, and section 153A of and 159A, etc. So hate speech or right speech, may we have got the different. The free speech is already defined, and hate speech is not defined anywhere. So we have a functioning of parliament and state legislature versus local government. Let's read it. What is question hour? That question is really important, and that could be appear in our polity. And let's read it once, that why this is in news. It is in news because in the wake of ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha suspended question hour and private members' business during the last monsoon session of Parliament. Just need to check out. Okay, this page is only. Okay, so the first hour of sitting during this. What about the question hour? If we got to know. Just a minute. If we talk about question hour, what is it? About question hour, if we know that question hour, if I talk about, it is the first hour of a sitting. During this, MP asks questions to ministers and hold them accountable for functioning of their ministries. So whom they are talking about? MP basically asking to the ministers. MP, member of parliament, ask basically questions to the minister under what their ministry has done. Both the houses of the parliament follow their own set of rules which are formulated to govern themselves. So at the beginning of the parliament in 1952, Lok Sabha rules provided for the question hour to be held every day. Okay, in Rajya Sabha, on the other hand, had a provision of question hour for 2 days a week. Means 2 days a week we have a question hour session. And a few months later, it was changed to 4 days a week. Earlier it was 2 days a week, and now it has changed to the 4 days a week. Then from 1964 onwards, question hour was taking place in Rajya Sabha on every day of the session. Earlier it was 2 days, then 4 days, and now it is for every day. And in 1952 onwards, it was 2 days, then later on it comes to the 4 days, and now from the 1964 it is from the every day. And if we go to the how it is work, that parliament proceeding starts from 11 a.m. Then from 12 a.m. onwards, there is a question hour from 11 to 12. So the period between them 11 to just 11 to 12, okay, 11 to 12 p.m. we have this proceeding, and 0 hour there is a time period, that is from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Rule 37 special mentioned, that is papers, tablet, bills introduced in this 0 hours. Then there is a lunch period, that is from 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. and thereafter from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. we have a proceeding, that is a legislation business, short duration discussion on Fridays. Last half an hour, last 2.5 hours are reserved for the private members business. So earlier what has happened, 11 a.m. started this, then there is a question hour till 12 p.m. and thereafter there is a 0 hour where the papers, tablet, bill introduced. Thereafter there is a lunch, and post lunch they're proceeding, and last duration we have for the private members business. Now suspension of question hour in past. What has happened in the past? So in question hour was done away with in the year of 1962, 1975, 1976 and 1991, 2004 and 2009 for various reasons. What all are the reasons? That we know already. 1975 was an emergency, 1976 was also an emergency, 1962 was when we know the China War, and 1991 there may be some issue, 2004 is maybe issue, 2019 we know some more issues. Now question hour was the first dispensed with due to India-China war during 1962. Now similarly winter session was suspended due to the war of the Pakistan. Okay, during the emergency parliament function without the question hour for 2 sessions, monsoon sessions and winter sessions. They just have mentioned this. Now what is a 0 hour? If we know that the time immediately following the question hour, that has come to be known as the 0 hour. Means after the question hour we just have a 0 hour. It starts from the 12 noon, hence the name 0 hour. 0 hour because 00 in the watches, no? Then it comes to be 0 hour. Typically discussion on important bills, the budget and the other issues of national importance take place from 2 p.m. onwards, means after lunch. Member wishing to raise matters during the 0 hour need to give notice to the speaker prior to start of the daily session. If they want to raise matters during the 0 hour, they have to give to the notice to the speaker. Means before starting anything, they have to go to the speaker. They have to give notice to the speaker that they want to discuss something. Then 0 hour is an Indian parliamentary innovation and unlikely question hour it is. Means 0 hour and question hour generated by Indian parliament, not by any other. It is an important point. So we have a different color here. That 0 hour and question hour is basically decided by Indians. Okay, so not mentioned in the rules procedure. 0 hour has been in existence since 1962. Okay, it is not mandatory to have a 0 hour every day during the session, though it is not so mandatory here. So what is the category of questions? Means what all are the categories that they can ask for. So started questions require an oral answer. So we have our questions that requires oral answer, that is a starred questions. Then we have unstarred question that requires a written answer. So we have an unstarred question, that is a shorter notice question that is asked orally after 0 question hour first item of agenda in case no question hour planned. Okay. So questions to private members means matters connected to the member of to whom question is asked, bill resolution, half an hour discussion that is held with the speaker's permission in case members not satisfied with the answers to unstarted questions. Now I'm again reading this. That first is started questions where we need to answer orally. Then we have unstarted question that as a written answer is required. Then is a short notice question where we asked it orally after question hour, means in a 0 hour we asked, and the first agenda item of in case of no question hour planned. Okay, then the question to private member, matters connected to the member to whom question is asked, half an hour discussion that is held with the speaker's permission in case of a member not satisfied with their answer of unstarted, means written or oral se wo nahi hai, so there is a half an hour discussion on the topic. Now, what are the conditions? There is a 15 days prior notice to the speaker and chairman to ask questions. Okay, period can be reduced by speaker chair. Means speaker can reduce this if it is really matters. Only 5 questions per day in Lok Sabha and 7 questions per day in Rajya Sabha by one member. By one member. So we know that there are many members, they can ask multiple questions. Now, before asking a questions, just hold on. Before asking a questions in the parliament, the member has to give 15 days notice to the chairman. We know such period is reduced to the discretion. The permissible limit with respect to the question 5 days we have already discussed. Now the parliamentary standing committee. It is, I think we have to discuss it later. Okay, I'll discuss it now here. That is Parliamentary Standing Committee. Due to pandemic, significant amount of tenure of Parliamentary Standing Committee was lost. I'll discuss it later.